Hello, welcome back to my daily coverage of the Accursed Race. We're now looking at day 4, so let's head over to follow my challenge and have a little look to see what's been going on. If you remember yesterday, Justinas Levejka had basically got, well, he was already leading, but he really pushed his gap out after Chris Dijkman's basically overslept. So Chris and Pierre were together. Pierre got ahead of Chris when he was sleeping, but if you remember looking at the sort of the rest chart, that Chris had actually been sleeping like 4 hours every night. Then he had like a 6-hour sleep or 7-hour sleep at the checkpoint, whereas Pierre had been having shorter sleeps. And we can see now that that's beginning to tell. And Chris has pushed out quite a decisive gap here. There was also rumours of some pretty bad weather, so we'll look into that in a minute. But it does sound like it's been pretty grim out there and made going quite hard. So you can see the front of the race. Like, I've not heard from the guys recently. They have been sending me, or Chris and Justinas have been sending me voice messages, but I've not heard too much. So I'm going to assume that means it's been pretty miserable. So we'll have a little look at where they are, what they're doing. First up, just a big thank you to Enduro Bearings. As you know by now, they're sponsoring the coverage of this race. So I've talked to you about the different bearings. They also do replacement jockey wheels and things like that. So yeah, these run the same kind of bearing technology, and then really good quality jockey wheels. So definitely worth considering them if you need to replace your jockey wheels. Essentially, I've not had to swap out any of the ones I've put on so far, and the bearings are still running smooth. I think there'll be a point when the teeth kind of wear out, and then I'll have to replace them. But yeah, they definitely last longer than standard ones. So yeah, good products, and well worth using if you're kind of into those nice little techie things. So thanks to Enduro Bearings for the support. Right, let's have a little look at Ride with GPS, and we can see that Justinas is at CP2. So CP2 is in Peshkopi, and you can see. You can see there's kind of like this big dog leg around here, and you can see the route shows it's off-road. Now this was actually some of this lower section was actually a parcours in the transcontinental race. So that section's pretty rideable actually. It's kind of like a long valley road, but up here it's absolutely wild. It's one of the weirdest places I've ever been. Really quite odd. It's kind of like a long lost, forgotten valley. So yeah, it's pretty wild, and that was in the warm weather last year. So I can imagine that it's probably quite exposed up there. So if we look at the tracker again, obviously Justinas is through there. Chris looks like he's kind of beginning the climb up, and there's just not much resupply. You can see on the elevation chart here. I'll just highlight it. Pretty like spiky, and that descent, it looks like quite a long descent, but I can tell you it's a hell of a drag. That's where I had a real kind of meltdown last year. It's one of those descents where you think you're just going to cover the ground really quick, but actually it's quite slow. There's lots of little ups and downs, and then I got smashed by a storm, so I ended up staying at the hotel, the Checkpoint Hotel in Peshkopi, where CP2 is. So yeah, it's just a long section. So Chris is about to go through there. I suspect that Justinas, just looking at the graph, I'm not entirely sure how up to date this stop time graph is, but looking at like 4 a.m. looks like he had a bit of a 38-minute nap there, but I can't see I don't know if that's where he's reached the checkpoint or whether he's gone on a bit further, but essentially it looks like he rode pretty late into the morning or early into the morning, and then finally got to the checkpoint. So if we look at the map now, you can see his little marker is greyed out. So I'd imagine he's having good rest. If we look on Ride GPS for that section I just highlighted, Chris is around here to Peshkopi, which is about there. So yeah, estimates like about 6 hours, if that's bad weather. I find off-road this can be a bit optimistic too, so call it 6-7 hours, maybe even more. That's the lead that Justinas has at the moment. I think it's fair to estimate. Of course, there might be some bad weather. Now, we'll dig into that in a minute. This is what Chris posted yesterday. It's he's obviously speaking French, so I don't fully understand what's going on, but to be honest, you don't need to understand the language. Just see his eyes.
Ça caille un peu encore. Ça va mieux, mais il n'y a pas longtemps c'était un peu... ça choquait dans tous les sens. On a fait... j'y ai fait, mais je viens de rejoindre Pierre ici. Et donc 70 km, non 50 km pour plus de 7 heures. On était dans 20 cm de neige, ouais, c'était un peu le souk là-haut, mais voilà, c'est fini.
Yeah, so looks like it's wet and cold up high. We can see some of the photos on the official Instagram page. This is the mountain pass before CP1. And you can see, I mean, when I was up there last year, it was relatively good weather of the whole of the race, but it was really wild up there, really, really strong winds, almost blowing you off your bike. Some point I did actually have to stop, put my feet down, get off and get going again. And there were some snow drifts up there, so it's really exposed, and you can see it's just sort of dumped up there. So I suspect that's why quite a few of the riders around CP1 have slowed down. So CP1 all the way over here, and it looks like we've just got some big bunches. It's on this section here. So not many people have got through. So I do wonder whether people have been sitting and waiting it out a little bit. And if we go down, you can see some long blocks. 11 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours, 10 hours, basically another 10 hours. So people have been basically hiding from the weather. All the way through this second half of the field. So yeah, it must have been pretty grim. I wonder if the front half or the front few riders got the best of it. Obviously, just when the storm started, but obviously the back of the field has been smashed. So there's not many people who have really kind of gone out and ridden through those conditions. So yeah, it looked pretty grim. I've been in contact with Estinus just to see if he can give us an update, but I've not heard anything. He's asleep at the moment by the looks of it. So it'd be 10 a.m. local time. So I suspect he got in at 4 or 5. He's going to have a 6-hour sleep and then a big push on to the finish. Especially if it's been cold, it's an opportunity to dry your clothes out, clean stuff, have a shower. Probably one of the first showers he's had this whole race. So yeah, interesting conditions out there. This is Christian Japaz, and he's got this amazing rain poncho. I'm not sure it's wind tunnel tested, to be honest, but it definitely looks like the old, the old school tourers with their big rain ponchos. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's May, but it's the mountains. You never know what can happen. So yeah, you've got the sort of juxtaposition of the snow and the spring flowers there. So yeah, that was up there. This is a better shot of the rain poncho. I mean, look at that. It looks pretty epic and pretty heroic. I just find it quite amusing that he's got like an aero front bag on, and then the biggest rain poncho in the whole universe. That's it's probably outdoing any benefit of having an aero front bag. But yeah, it's quite funny. But if you're warm and dry and you're moving, that's the main thing. Here's Andy. He looks like he went just with knee warmers, so he's had to fashion his socks into some extra leg warmers just to cover the bottom of his shins. You can see the classic plastic bags in the shoes there. Just tells you everything you need to know. And oh god, look at those hands, just wet, cold, miserable. But hopefully, once they push through, or this front pushes through, hopefully it'll improve a little bit. You can see, it's not massively thick on certain mountains. I guess it depends where you are and at what time. But you can see it's going to be quite slow going on the tracks. Some of them, when I was there last year, looked like they could potentially get pretty sticky in the mud. You can see there, it looks, running water. It's just, it just slows you down. Just have to be a bit more careful on the corners. Just got to pick your lines, and clean your bike off a little bit. So yeah, that is the Accursed Race at the moment. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll hear from either Chris or Justinus tomorrow, and give you a little update and see what's going on. But yeah, keep watching the dots. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.